For example, with assistance from USAID, the Afghan government is expanding its work to pay police officers by cell phone. This helps cut down on fraudulent payments and prevents corrupt officials from skimming from their workers' salaries. And I want to commend the OECD for the crucial role you play in supporting reform. The Anti-Bribery Convention commits countries to tackle the bribery of foreign officials, and the new Global Forum on Transparency is working to reduce tax evasion. The United States is proud to support the recently launched Tax and Development Program and the OECD NEPAD Africa Investment Initiative, two excellent programs for sharing best practices that have already benefited the South Sudan, Tanzania, and others. Other institutions, including the G20, the IMF, the World Bank, and civil society organizations like Oxfam and Transparency International have lent their expertise as well. And all of these efforts are critical and they should continue. But in the end, success will depend on more than funding and sharing expert technical solutions. It will depend on building the political will to implement them. Any kind of change will take hard work, but these reforms will also take courage. Elected leaders will have to look their most powerful supporters right in the eye and tell them, you need to pay your fair share for the good of your country. Budget officials will have to make their decisions public, even if it subjects them to tough criticism. And tax collectors will have to speak out against bribery and corruption. In short, behind every success story, there will be a committed group of people who refuse to accept the status quo, who stand up to entrenched interests and take on tough reforms. Without this essential leadership, technical solutions will remain necessary, but unfortunately insufficient. Building that political will is the goal of an effort we're calling Domestic Finance for Development. We aim to raise these issues from the technical realm to the political realm. Not just how to implement the reforms, but how to spark leadership and action. And in the coming weeks, I will issue policy guidance instructing every diplomat and every development officer at the State Department and USAID to elevate corruption as a focus of their work with other countries. We are also establishing an innovation fund to create incentives and boost political support for anti-corruption efforts and tax reform. And we will launch a pilot project to support a small number of countries in their efforts to make comprehensive, integrated reform in all three areas. Working with countries that have a demonstrated commitment to change, we will help them identify areas for improvement, design solutions, and measure their progress in delivering results. Ultimately, our goal is to reinforce these countries and to create models of success. And finally, in July, the United States will host a meeting of the Open Government Partnership, which will bring together partners from many countries and sectors to support government's efforts to become more transparent, accountable, and participatory. The meeting will pave the way for heads of state to participate in a summit on the sidelines of this year's United Nations General Assembly.